People who were legends in their high school. When this kid was a freshman in high school, he was always bullied by the wrestling and the boxing club students, and he was beat up really badly that year. So during the summer, he started working out every day, and he took Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu lessons. By the end of that summer, he was pretty buff and he knew how to fight. His parents wanted to go on vacation before the school year started, so they went to Dubai. They were in Dubai for about a month, and while he was there, he still worked out every day and he trained in martial arts. Shortly after that, he was back in school, and a few days in, he saw the bullies. They didn't know what he had been up to that summer, and one day during lunch, they started to pick a fight with him. All his friends were telling him to run, but he didn't run. Instead, he used his knowledge in martial arts, and he absolutely won that fight against those 3 bullies. Everyone was amazed. The entire lunchroom began chanting his name. He felt like a star. But a teacher saw him and he was suspended. The bullies never messed with him again, and he said it was totally worth it. This is messed up. So this guy and his girlfriend had just broken up. They lived together. Well, the day after they broke up, he went to work, and that was when she was going to pack all of her stuff and leave. When he got home from work, he relaxed, had some dinner, watched some TV, and then he was gonna brush his teeth before he went to sleep. Both of his toothbrushes that were in his cabinet were covered in a gross brown substance. He knew immediately it was his ex, so he texted her, "What the frick did you do to my toothbrushes?" She told him that she pooped on one of his toothbrushes, and on the other, she put some weird chocolate on there and sprayed it with fart spray, so he couldn't tell the difference if he wanted to do a sniff test. That's savage. Was this boyfriend too harsh? This guy has a cat named Raven, who's 3 years old, and a few weeks ago, his girlfriend of 2 years moved into his apartment, and it was obvious she wasn't a big fan of his cat. He didn't think it was that big of a deal, until one day he came home and Raven was gone. His cat was missing for hours, and he was worried sick, because he loves that cat. But finally, one of his friends came knocking at his door with Raven, saying that he found him 2 blocks away. When his girlfriend came home, he asked her how his cat, who has never tried to get outside before, ended up that far from the apartment, and after some arguing, she finally admitted to kicking the cat out. He was furious. He said that she had no right to do this, and that because she thought it was okay, he wants her out at the end of the month. She started crying, saying that she had nowhere to go, and that if he kicks her out, she would have to live on the street. He said he doesn't care. Now, all of his friends say that he's being too harsh. What do you think? This guy's girlfriend was not who he thought she was. This guy had been living with his girlfriend for about 3 years. One night, his girlfriend told him that she had shot and killed her previous husband and put his body in the old shed in the backyard. Well, he didn't believe her. He thought she was just playing around. Well, one night, his girlfriend tried to kill him. She ambushed him in the living room and shot him. He recovered, but the police then investigated her previous story, and in the old shed in their backyard, there he was, her ex-husband. He had been in there for years. He then later learned that she had been married 4 or 5 times before that, and nobody knows where those guys are either. I think I have an idea. That's nuts. You just shit your pants? No, I didn't. I promise you I didn't. Chad, I think you just shit your pants. Oh my god, it stinks. You did, didn't you? Oh no, Ew, Chad pooped his pants. Oh, hey bro, that's nasty. Hey, what's up, Jason? Hey, Seth. Oh, hey, Chad. Chad, hi. What? We heard what happened yesterday during lunch, and you can't sit at the bullies table anymore. We actually filled your spot. What? Who? Carl. Yeah, he's a bully now. Hey, Chad. Alright, I'll just sit over here then. People's craziest roommate stories. When this guy was in college, he had a roommate that he shared an apartment with. This roommate claims that he was involved in the mafia. He said this guy was constantly sweaty, very jumpy, and had tons of cash in his car. He also never went to parties. Hey Tony, I'm going to Carla's party. You want to come? No, I'm good, buddy. I'm gonna stay home and keep an eye on the place, but you have fun, okay? Alright man, later. Strangest thing of all though was that this guy never slept in his actual bedroom. He only slept on the couch right by the front door. Tony, did you sleep on the couch again? Of course, I do every night. But why? You have your own bedroom. It's just I want to be right by the door. In case, forget it. In case what? I just want to be by the door in case someone comes in the night looking for me. But if I'm the first person they see, I might be able to take care of it. I would hate if something happened to you, man. Well, a couple months pass, and one day this guy woke up in the morning, and Tony was nowhere to be seen, and all of his stuff was gone. Black markets kids ran in their schools. When this guy was 15 years old, he was the best writer at his school, and everyone knew it. At that time, he worked at McDonald's, and one day, his coworkers brought this up. Yeah, I know, Kevin got an A on that paper. I know he did, didn't you? Yeah, I did. Bro, he always does. Kevin, I would pay you $20 to write an essay for me. Bro, same. And that's what sparked the idea. From that point until he graduated high school, he wrote about 50 papers for his peers. It was a solid business. He went to college, did the whole school thing, and when he graduated, he started his paper writing business back up. This time for college students. He made a website and an Instagram page called killerpapers.org. The first year of running this business, he made $50,000. And today, business is booming more than ever. He has a whole team of people that work for him, that help him write papers for the clients. And this all started from a business he ran in high school. You gotta respect the hustle. Black markets kids ran in their schools, a follower submission. When this kid was in middle school, he was pretty popular and he was a funny kid in his class. Everybody liked him and everyone respected him. He never had any beef with anybody. And because of this, people were constantly telling him their secrets or who they had a crush on. That's when he had an idea. After he felt like he gathered enough information from people, he ran a business. He sold people's secrets and their crushes to anybody who would pay. And business was booming. He charged a couple dollars to share someone's secret. He charged $5 to tell someone who that person had a crush on. He was making decent money. The people who bought the secrets from him never snitched on where they got that information from, but the teachers and students knew somebody was leaking this juicy info to people. He eventually stopped because it was getting too risky, and in the end, he made $900. The worst step-parents of all time. When this kid was 11 years old, his dad and his stepmom had been married for 5 years. Well, one day, his stepmom took him to get some ice cream. Right after she bought him a cone, they sat down, and she said she wanted to talk. This is what she said. "I think it's best if you went to live with your mom full time. No one in our house loves you. Your father and I both think you are a bastard child who takes all of our money. You smell weird, you can't do anything for yourself, nobody loves you. And not to mention, you are a pathetic waste of life, and you are ruining the love between me and your father. Enjoy your ice cream cone." She then left the ice cream shop without him and drove away. Where are you going? You can't just leave me here. Leaving him there, all by himself, with no way to get home. The worst step-parents of all time. This guy had just turned 21 years old, and there were family dinners and events planned for his birthday. Well, on the morning of his 21st, his stepmom canceled all of them. She didn't even wish him a happy birthday that day. The next day, when he confronted her, she said, "Oh, get over it, it's just a day." Well, a month later, it was his stepmom's birthday, and he didn't acknowledge her at all. Didn't even say a single word to her, and she got salty. Excuse me, do you know what day it is? Yeah. You're not gonna even wish me a happy birthday? What's going on? And he replied by saying this: "It's just a day, right? Plus, I don't give a shit that you're turning 52. You look 60 anyways." I'm telling your father. Do whatever you want. I truly don't care about you at all. Craziest things kids did in school. In one middle school, this kid asked his teacher if he can go to the bathroom. "Can I go to the bathroom, miss?" She said, "No, you just went 10 minutes ago." Well, this made him very angry. And right after she said no, he grabbed his sharpened pencil and stabbed it right into his hand. How about now? Can I go to the bathroom now? Yeah. Yeah, you can. And go to the nurse too, and then to the principal's office. His parents were called, and he most likely had to go talk to a therapist. Who is the in this situation? And this one might be kind of obvious. A couple months into their marriage, this man said that his wife wanted a dog very bad, but his stepchildren have told him that his wife had the tendency to want a dog more than anything, get it, and then give it away when she was tired of it. Well, he brought this up to her, and she promised him that that wouldn't happen. So they got a dog. A couple months in, and he loved the dog so much, but he sensed that his wife might be growing tired of it. Well, his suspicions were confirmed when one day, without consulting him, she went out and adopted a $2,000 dog. And when she came home with the dog, she said that she wanted to get rid of the other dog. He said, "Absolutely not. You promised me this wouldn't happen. And now me and the dog are a package deal. If the dog goes, I go." And now she's saying that he is an for not standing by her side on this. What do you think? Who is the in this situation, and this one might be kind of obvious. A couple months into their marriage, this man said that his wife wanted a dog very bad, but his stepchildren have told him that his wife had the tendency to want a dog more than anything, get it, and then give it away when she was tired of it. Well, he brought this up to her, and she promised him that that wouldn't happen, so they got a dog. A couple months in, and he loved the dog so much, but he sensed that his wife might be growing tired of it. Well, his suspicions were confirmed when one day, without consulting him, she went out and adopted a $2,000 dog. And when she came home with the dog, she said that she wanted to get rid of the other dog. He said, absolutely not. You promised me this wouldn't happen. And now me and the dog are a package deal. If the dog goes, I go. And now she's saying that he is an for not standing by her side on this. What do you think? People that were legends in their high school. This one high school had costume contests during Halloween. Well, this one kid showed up to school wearing a Walmart hot dog costume. As he stepped up on the stage, everyone thought it was funny, and they were chanting, "Hot dog kid, hot dog kid," and he won the award for best costume that year. Well, the next year, he wore a penguin costume, and as he stepped up on the stage, he stood there for a second, and then he ripped off the penguin costume to reveal the hot dog costume underneath. Everybody in the school absolutely lost it. That kid became a legend right then and there. Now, students can't win the costume contest 2 years in a row, but everyone knew that hot dog kid had done it again. How did bathrooms work in medieval castles? Obviously, there wasn't any plumbing, so the bathrooms were built into the castle walls. You'd walk into something like this, take a seat and do your thing. Or if it was a fancier castle, it would look like this. These are the bathrooms. And then after you drop one, it goes down this chute right here, which goes either into the moat or into a pit for someone to clean up. How to know if someone is staring at you. Have you ever been in class or some public place and just felt like somebody was staring at you? Do this. Yawn as big as you can and then look around. Yawning is contagious, so if you yawn while someone's staring at you, they will yawn as well. This is how it would go down. What? Keep your eyes to yourself, bitch. How to know if your cat actually loves you. Quick fun fact for you. According to a few cat scientists, cats think humans are just bigger cats. Anyway, when your cat headbutts you like this, it means they're marking you as their buddy. When a cat shows you their belly, it means they trust you. And when a cat nibbles on you like a chew toy, it means you're their best friend. And if your cat has never done those, then your cat probably just hates you. Businesses you could run at your school. Part 2. Cologne or perfume. Everybody likes smelling fresh. And I believe that there is a fragrance market waiting to be tapped into. For example, let's say you bought a 50 milliliter bottle of Jake Cologne from Hollister. You can get that for $30, possibly less online. Now, the average amount of sprays in a 50 milliliter bottle of cologne is 735. Now, let's say you went to a school dance and posted up in the bathroom, selling one spray of cologne for 50 cents. I bet you people would do it. You could even try selling it at the bathrooms in school. Who knows? But once you sold out of one bottle of cologne at 50 cents a spray and 735 sprays, your profit would be $337.50. My favorite comebacks, part 7. Let's dive right in. Here she comes, man. Go for it. All right, bro. Wish me luck. Hey, Claire, I was wondering if you possibly wanted to go to the dance with me. Yeah, no. Oh, okay. Why do all the weird people always ask me out? I'm a catch. Yeah, catch and release. She's way out of your league, loser. Watch your mouth. Hey, man, were you born on a highway? What is it even supposed to mean? I just assumed you were, since that's where most accidents happen. Shut up, man. You can run at your school. Yes, we all know Halloween is coming up, and for those of you trick-or-treating, you have 2 options. 1, eat all the candy you get, or 2, take that candy, wait for the Halloween season to be over, and sell it to people at your school. The cool thing about this is if you can practice self-control and not eat all of your Halloween candy, when you sell it to kids at your school, that's 100% profit. That candy was free. Say you managed to get 500 pieces of candy, and you sold it all for $1 a piece. That's $500 profit. Your second option, if you would rather eat all your candy when you get it, is to wait a few days after Halloween. Then go to the store. They will be selling the bags of Halloween candy at a super good discount. At Walmart, they're selling this bag of 56 pieces of Halloween candy for $10.98. I'm not sure how much they'll discount it after Halloween, but say it's $5. $5 for this bag of 56 pieces. You sell the candy for $1 a piece, and that's $51 profit. There's money to be made, my friends, but you can't make it if you don't hustle. Businesses you could run at your school. This one's pretty basic, but it's a good way to get started. Sell gum. Go to Amazon and you can buy a chewing gum assortment of 40 packs for about $15 right now. There are 5 sticks of gum in each pack, so in total, this box has 200 sticks of gum. Now you can sell them for however much you want. If you sold each piece of gum for $1, you'd make 200 bucks, minus the $15 you used to buy it, and that's $185 profit. Now $1 might be too expensive. You could sell them for 50 cents each, and that would still get you $85 profit. It's not a crazy amount of money, but business is business, and you never know what'll happen. Sliced bread is evolving. We all grew up with making our sandwiches on bread like this. It's all we knew. But the time has come for a change, and I'm calling you to join me on this journey. The new way to eat sandwiches, the new way to slice bread, must be this. I was almost mugged, but this is how I got out of it. I was walking home to my apartment on a cold, snowy Chicago evening, and I decided to take a shortcut. As I was walking through the alleys, I heard someone behind me yell, "Hey man, come here." And because it was late and I was skeptical, I just kept on walking. But he started following me. It was definitely a little sus. This is the point where I started straight up running to my apartment. I'm running and this guy's chasing me. I finally see the back of my apartment when I slip and fall on a big sheet of ice. At this point, the guy was catching up to me and I was like, alright, he's gonna get me, oh well. And I just started crying, screaming, flailing around. And what I didn't know at the time is that when I fell on the ice, my pants fell down too. And this guy gets to me, and I'm preparing for the worst. But I guess my pantsless screaming self made him feel very uncomfortable because all he said was, "Oh hell no," and he ran away. And that's how I avoided being mugged. John Wayne Gacy's strange hobby. John Wayne Gacy was an American serial killer that killed more than 33 people. But what a lot of us don't know is that John Wayne Gacy loved to make art. Here are some of his pieces. This one is of Hitler, this very religious piece, and of course, he loved to paint clowns. John Wayne Gacy died in 1994, but his paintings are still being passed around from art dealer to art dealer. And what's crazy is that John Wayne Gacy's paintings have sold to private art dealers for more than $150,000 per painting. Here are some of the people that bought his artwork. I'm not sure why they'd even want to have it. It's a little sus to me. This is the hardest game of hide and seek on YouTube. So double tap this video if you're up for the challenge. Close your eyes in 3, 2, 1. Hey, no cheating. I said close your eyes. Okay, now I'm hiding. Okay, open your eyes. You can only subscribe if you found me. Can you beat me in hide and seek? I don't think you can. Double tap this video for good luck. Close your eyes in 3, 2, 1. Hey, don't cheat. I said close your eyes. Okay, I'm gonna go to my spot now. I am hiding. And this is a perfect spot. Open your eyes. You can only subscribe if you found me. What's so fragile that saying its name breaks it? I'll give you a few seconds to figure it out. The answer is silence. You can only follow if you got it right. Worst toy designs of all time, part 20. This one's not really a toy, it's a bounce house. A Pikachu bounce house. And honestly, I have no words. I have no idea who did this or why the hell they thought it was okay. The entire thing is just sus. See for yourself. Worst playground designs of all time, part 1. The picture behind me is an inflatable snowman bounce house, and it's 100% real. People rent this out and use it, but once again, the way you enter this bounce house is incredibly sus. See for yourself. Uber drivers' craziest experiences. One night, this guy was driving, working for Uber, when he picked up this sweet woman from a bar at around 10 p.m. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing fine, thank you very much. This guy said that she was very drunk, and she asked, "Is it okay if we roll the windows down a bit?" Sure, yeah, go for it, whatever you need. He was preparing to have to send her a cleaning fee. He thought she was going to vomit in the car. But that's not what she did. All she did was she sat with her hand out the window. She then asked him, "Have you ever thought about dying?" "Sometimes. I actually have cancer." She told him that she had cancer in her brain and it was too far along. She was going to die. I am really sorry to hear that. I told my friends that I was moving abroad, so they threw me a going away party at that bar. I just didn't tell them that abroad was actually heaven. 3 days later after that night, she had passed away. He knew this because he saw her name in the obituaries. Teachers who really shouldn't be teaching. At one elementary school, there was a teacher that was super hard on the students, especially when the class was reading as a group and somebody would read too slowly. Here's one example of how she would act. Abraham Lincoln
was watching, come on Kyle, pick it up please, pick it up. Abraham Lincoln was watching a play when... Abraham Lincoln was watching a play when what? Come on Kyle, hurry up. Abraham Lincoln was... Faster. Abraham Lincoln was watching a play when... Kyle, stop, that's it. I am so disappointed in you. What is wrong with you? Everyone give Kyle the thumbs down. He did so bad reading. George, please finish what Kyle couldn't. Thank you.
Abraham Lincoln was watching a play when John Wilkes Booth shot him in the head. Interesting facts about lucid dreams. Lucid dreaming is when you are in a dream and you know that you're in a dream. You can control it and do whatever you want, like literally. I taught myself how to do it when I was younger and it is awesome. Did you know that time moves slower when you are in a dream? One person apparently lived a lifetime in a lucid dream. She said it felt like she was in there for 100 years. And she wasn't stuck, she said. She said it was epic, but it only actually happened over the course of a night. When you lucid dream, you can create a world, cities, houses, and even people that you can revisit every time you're back in that dream. It's like you have two lives, your waking life and your dream life. Dream characters are people that your subconscious puts in your dream. So say you're 100% lucid, you know you're dreaming, and you walk around a city. If you ask a question to somebody walking around, their answer is actually your subconscious talking to you. Have you ever had a lucid dream?
Interesting facts that could save you or somebody else's life. If your house smells like fish for no reason at all, 9 times out of 10, there's an electrical fire somewhere, and you should get out. If a service dog ever approaches you without its owner, it means the dog's trying to get help, so follow them quickly. You could save someone's life. If you see a tornado and it looks like it's not moving, that means it's moving towards you, so you might want to get out of the way. If you're ever driving and you feel like somebody's following you, take 4 right turns. It will eventually make a circle, and if that same person's behind you, they are definitely following you. Don't drive home, just call the police and head to the police station. If someone ever tries to grab you, scratch them very hard. Their DNA is now in your nails and could be used to find and catch that person. And lastly, if you ever wake up in the middle of the night to the smell of gas, don't turn on the lights. One simple spark from a light switch could blow up the entire house. These interesting facts blew my mind. A moose can dive nearly 20 feet underwater in search of food. It took humans more time to go from bronze swords to steel swords than it took them to go from steel swords to nuclear bombs. That's crazy. Chainsaws were actually invented to be used in childbirth, and originally they were hand cranked. Thank God for technology. Rosa Parks died in 2005. The movie Shrek came out in 2001, so there's a possibility that Rosa Parks saw Shrek. I really hope she did. Shrek is a masterpiece. Craziest teachers ever. At one middle school, there was a teacher that had a samurai sword, and he kept it in his trunk. Well, every time there was a fire drill, his students would line up right by where his car was parked. And every time there was a fire drill, he would show kids his samurai sword. All right, next. Whoa, that's amazing. Can I hold it? Oh, you want to hold it? Yeah, sure. I'm kidding. Next. Students loved him. The samurai sword was pretty cool too, but the school found out about this and he was fired immediately. But the response from students was overwhelming. A group of students made thousands of posters of that teacher photoshopped to look like a samurai, and they wrote, "Free my samurai homie," and placed it all around the school. Well, despite their best efforts, that teacher did not get his job back.
The Kentucky Meat Shower. In Bath County, Kentucky, on March 3rd, 1876, chunks of red meat rained from the sky for several minutes. The size of the meat chunks ranged from 2 inches to 4 inches, and to this day, nobody knows why it was raining meat. The most popular theory is that a flock of vultures was flying over the area, and at the same time, they all vomited. Again, that's just a theory and nobody knows. Now, the type of meat that was falling from the sky was never identified, but various reports suggest it was beef, deer, lamb, bear, or even human meat.
Craziest things that have ever happened to people. Some years ago, this person was going to a concert with some of his friends. This was before smartphones, so he had to print out his ticket at home. They all decided to meet at a bar before the concert to have some drinks. They had their drinks and then they walked over to the concert venue. When they got there, he realized he didn't have his printed ticket on him. He ran back to his car, it wasn't there. He looked around the parking lot, it wasn't there either. He went back to the bar, no ticket. He was defeated. He was now walking back to the venue
venue to tell his friends that he was unable to find it and he couldn't see the concert with them. Well, as he was at an intersection waiting for the walk signal, a piece of paper started floating by in front of him. He looks down and it was his printed ticket that he had lost. He said it was one of the best days of his life.
The weirdest things ever sold in Japanese vending machines. Horned beetles. In Japan, these are considered to be good luck, as well as a fun thing to play with. And these live beetles are sold out of vending machines, so kids can buy them and play with them. And bug collectors can add them to their collection. Would you ever buy one of these? You can buy a girl's phone number out of a vending machine in Japan as well. Phone chat is a big business in Japan, and these numbers actually work. It seems a little sus to me. One of the most infamous Japanese vending machine items was women's used underwear. They had them in things like this. Now, there's very few of these machines left, and the underwear in these machines weren't actually used. They were just made to look like they were. Once again, that's incredibly sus. Some pet shops in Japan put these live puppy vending machines on the sidewalk. Luckily for the dogs, though, they don't have to be dispensed like a normal vending machine. Once someone buys it, they're just taken out by hand. And lastly, live lobster vending machines. These lobsters are placed in water inside a crane-style game. This one's actually pretty cool. Weirdest things ever sold in Japanese vending machines. Horned beetles. In Japan, these are considered to be good luck, as well as a fun thing to play with. And these live beetles are sold out of vending machines, so kids can buy them and play with them. And bug collectors can add them to their collection. Would you ever buy one of these? You can buy a girl's phone number out of a vending machine in Japan as well. Phone chat is a big business in Japan, and these numbers actually work. It seems a little sus to me. One of the most infamous Japanese vending machine items was women's used underwear. They had them in things like this. Now, there's very few of these machines left, and the underwear in these machines weren't actually used. They were just made to look like they were. Once again, that's incredibly sus. Some pet shops in Japan put these live puppy vending machines on the sidewalk. Luckily for the dogs, though, they don't have to be dispensed like a normal vending machine. Once someone buys it, they're just taken out by hand. And lastly, live lobster vending machines. These lobsters are placed in water inside a crane-style game. This one's actually pretty cool.
The glasses Jeffrey Dahmer wore in prison are for sale. Taylor James is the owner of a website called Cult Collectibles, where he sells a bunch of strange and creepy murder memorabilia. He received the glasses and a bunch of other Jeffrey Dahmer-owned items after Dahmer's father's housekeeper called him to give him all the stuff. The glasses are being sold for $150,000, but his website also sold a few other things. This signed prison envelope is selling for $8,000. His psych report sold for $2,000. And the Bible he owned while he was in prison sold for $6,000. The guy selling this stuff is about to make bank. The worst employees ever. This guy and his friend ran a construction business. Well, they were looking to hire a new employee. One dude applied and they were interviewing him. All right, well, your resume looks fantastic. It's very impressive. I like what we see. Amazing, amazing. Yeah, just thank you so much for interviewing me. Of course, yeah, well, I'm hungry. How about you? Starving. Well, let's get some lunch, huh? Can you drive? Of course. Well, they went to lunch and it was great. They had a fantastic time. As they were driving back, though, something strange happened. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed the food there. It was great. The wings were amazing. There was a possum on the side of the road. Oh, hey, yo, check this out. Did you just kill a possum? That's hilarious, right? So, did I get the job? No. Man, no, you did not get the job. We were going to hire you, but then you killed a possum. That's messed up, man. But it was a little funny, right? Get the f*** out of here. Incredible service today. We are so blessed. Praise the Lord. Gene, thank you so much for your generous donation. Those kids are going to be so excited. It's the least I could do. Excuse me. Yes? My food is cold. Are you sure? They literally just made it. Are you calling me a liar? Ma'am, I'm just saying, I literally just watched them take it off the grill. Take it back, make it again, I want a new plate. Yes, ma'am. He is not getting a tip. Can I have some more coffee too, please?
This man died while burying the woman he killed. One day, police deputies in South Carolina were sent to a home because of a report of an unresponsive man lying in his yard. When they arrived, they had found the body of 60-year-old Joseph Anthony McKinnon, who had lived at the residence. As their investigation continued, deputies found a second body lying in a freshly dug pit. The body was confirmed to be 65-year-old Patricia Ruth Dent, Joseph's roommate. Ruth's autopsy showed that she had died by strangulation, and the police believed that he attacked her while in their house, killed her, bound her and wrapped her in trash bags, and then put her in a pit that he had dug earlier. Joseph was in the process of filling the pit he put the body in when he suffered a cardiac arrest, which caused his death. Black markets kids ran in their schools. Follower submission. This guy's in high school, and this is how he started this business. It was the beginning of a school year. He went around to a bunch of students at the school and asked what type of candy they liked. He went out and bought a bunch of that type of candy. He then started selling each candy product for $2 each. Business was picking up so much that whenever he brought candy to class, he would sell over $40 worth in the first minute. Business was booming. He started putting more and more money into his product every time he restocked. For example, if he spent $100 on his candy stock, that would be about $250 profit. If he spent $500 on his candy stock, that's about $1,000 profit. He was making tons of money. That's when he started hiring his friends to do the selling for him, and they would get a part of the profit. Here are some pictures and videos of his stock. It's actually super impressive. Here's one day's profit. This guy was a legend. In 1 year, he made $10,000. Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. When he was in school, there was a kid that had a personal chef at his house. And every day the chef would make him homemade croissants to take to lunch. Or if you're fancy, croissant. Who knows? Apparently, these were the most busting croissants in the whole world. One day, the chef made the kid 2 croissants. So he ate one and sold the other one to his friend for $5. His friend took one bite of the croissant and his mind was blown. It was the best thing he ever had, he said. He then told the entire school that these croissants are amazing. And soon everybody wanted one. So now this kid was having his chef make him 20 croissants every day to take to school, and he was selling them for $5 each. Business was booming. The principal found out one day and shut him down. But the students complained and complained, and finally the principal said fine. They let the kid bring his chef into school to sell croissants during lunch. In total, the both of them made around $20,000. Craziest things kids did in school. At one middle school, there was a student who would later be known as Cheeseburger Kid, and here is why. One day, right before lunch, he left the school. He walked around the school and found an area of the building that would be easy to climb. Perfect. He then scaled the building and got on the roof. Now, the cafeteria at this school had skylights, windows that looked to the sky. Once he was on the roof, he made his way over to one of the skylights above the cafeteria. He pulled a brick out of his backpack and then he jumped down. The cafeteria was selling cheeseburgers, and his plan was to steal all of them and escape. Hey, somebody stop that kid! He even punched a lunch lady. You stop right now! You stop right now! Finally, the police show up and grabbed him. He bit the police officer's hand, and then he went to juvie, never to be heard of again. Weird things kids did in school. One day during class in middle school, this kid saw a thermos in the back of the classroom. Turns out it was the teacher's, but he did not know this at the time. He then goes to the bathroom with the thermos. He then comes back, the teacher sees him and says, "Oh, you found my thermos, thank you so much. You can just put it on my desk." And he does. He then walks out of the room without saying a word. The teacher opens the thermos and is incredibly confused and disgusted. Apparently, this kid took a inside of her thermos. Weird things kids did in school. One day during class in middle school, this kid saw a thermos in the back of the classroom. Turns out it was the teacher's, but he did not know this at the time. He then goes to the bathroom with the thermos. He then comes back, the teacher sees him and says, "Oh, you found my thermos, thank you so much. You can just put it on my desk." And he does. He then walks out of the room without saying a word. The teacher opens the thermos and is incredibly confused and disgusted. Apparently, this kid took a inside of her thermos. Dumbest things people got in trouble for in school. It was a hot summer's day at this one person's elementary school, and during lunch, every single lunch table had these mini water jugs on them. Well, this kid forgot his water bottle that day, and he was very dehydrated. So during lunch, he drank a ton of water. He drank so much that the lunch ladies had to refill them a couple times. Well, the next day, just before recess, the teacher stopped everyone and said that the lunch ladies complained because somebody drank way too much water the day before, and they didn't appreciate doing that many refills. None of his class was allowed to leave for recess until the teacher knew who the water drinker was. Well, this kid was a shy kid, so he kept silent, but one of his friends ratted him out. He got in trouble and had to stay inside while all of his friends went out to recess. All because he drank some water. That's crazy.
Black markets kids ran in their school's follower submissions. When this person was in 6th grade at his school, there was a group of friends, and one of them liked to eat chalk. Here is the story.
I'm telling you, it was hilarious. Hey, you eating chalk, my dude? Hey, yo, Reggie, why you eating chalk, man? I like it. Stop staring at me.
The group of friends then started a business where they went around the school and told kids if they gave them $1 that their friend would eat chalk.
Hey, dude. What? Do you see this guy over here? If you give us $1, he'll eat a piece of chalk. All right, yeah, that sounds good.
They made around $500 before the school found out and shut them down. Black markets kids ran in their schools. Follower submission. When he was in high school, he was taking woodshop class, and something he would make all the time was these wooden door stoppers that teachers would use. And the teachers at his school seemed to lose their door stoppers often, so he would make them and sell them for $5 a piece. Well, the funny thing is, the teachers weren't simply losing their door stoppers. This kid would secretly take them from their classrooms, and then when they noticed their door stopper was missing, they would come to him and ask him to make them another one, and the cycle continues. He made $300 doing this.
Worst things people did as kids. When this guy was growing up, his dad was an alcoholic and he had back problems, so he was prescribed morphine. For some reason, his dad gave him his morphine. He said that led to issues later on in life, but that's a different story. Anyway, one day at school, a kid named Dylan stole his MP3 player, and this kid was much bigger than him. There was nothing he could really do. So instead of confronting him, he put a handful of the morphine his dad gave it, dropped it in Dylan's backpack, then reported him to the dean. And because this guy has been in trouble before, he was expelled from the school and was facing potential jail time. And that was that. But 10 years later, this guy saw Dylan working at the Wendy's drive-thru in their hometown. Weird things teachers said to students. When this kid was in 2nd grade, him and his family moved to a new school in South Carolina. They came from up north, and this kid was not used to the southern accents and sometimes had a hard time understanding it. Well, one day, his 2nd grade teacher asked him to lead the class outside for recess. And this is what happened. Will you take the class down yonder hill for me, William? Down yonder hill? Yes, Will, please lead the class down yonder hill. Well, William had no idea what the heck down yonder hill meant. He thought it was an actual place, so he just stood there and did nothing. William, down yonder hill. Down yonder hill. William, take the class down yonder hill, please. You dumb kid. What are you, stupid boy? Get to the back of the line. My, your mama raised a dumb boy. Come on, class, follow me. I hate it here. Black markets kids ran in their schools. I'm just gonna read some submissions I have in my DMs. In middle school and early high school, I would stuff my backpack full of cans of pop, mostly Mountain Dew, and sell them for $2 a can. There was only water and Diet Coke in the vending machine. I would sell 2 12-packs a day and make around $30 to $36 a day doing that. I ended up saving around $1,200 under my dresser just from the profits of the soda side hustle. It was mostly Baja Blast and regular Mountain Dew, but I would change it up. I never got caught, and every time I was questioned, I would have already left my insanely heavy and bulging backpack full of pop with a friend. Solid side business and super easy to start. I like this one. Here's another one. It says, I have a story. When I was in middle school, I had a business where I would buy inappropriate anime stickers from a private Amazon account. The stickers were in high demand and selling out quickly at about $40 to $100 a day until I was caught because a kid told the vice principal, getting me a week of in-school suspension and hard labor. They make you do hard labor? This kid ran a business at school and became rich. Okay, not in real money, but school money. Listen up. My followers sent me the story about a kid at his school. This kid went to church, and at that church, there were bowls of candy and bubble gum that were free to the patrons. What he would do is he would take handfuls and handfuls of the gum and bring them to school. And at his school, gum was like gold. People were always trading it and buying it off of each other. But this school had a currency system, like school bucks. If you did well in class or you were well behaved, you would get these school bucks that allowed you to buy a bunch of different things, like passes to come late to class, passes to get in the front of the lunch line. You can buy school supplies, a new locker if you wanted, all with these school bucks. And that's what he charged for the gum he was selling. Business was absolutely booming. In total, this kid made around 3,000 school bucks. Needless to say, he got a bigger locker, he was always first in the lunch line, and he was occasionally late to class with no repercussions.
Favorite comebacks, part 5. Let's dive right in. Here it is.
Hey, yo, Kyle. What's up? Just so you know, nobody likes you, bro. You're freaking weird. Do you eat your cereal with water? No, why would I do that? That's interesting, because I heard your dad never came home with the milk. You better shh. Black markets kids ran in their schools. When this kid was in middle school, he would buy those 32 packs of Monster energy drinks from Sam's Club. He would sell them at lunch for $2 each, and business was booming. He wasn't really doing this for the money, even though he made a pretty decent profit. He was doing this because the teachers were always assigning these crazy projects, so he thought caffeine would help these people get through the day. Everyone loved this kid, but one day, another student went to the principal and told him what was going on. The principal called the student to his office, and he was suspended for 3 days. The reason being that currency cannot be exchanged between students on school grounds, which is completely bogus and doesn't make any sense. Dumbest things people got in trouble for at school. When this girl was 11 years old, she loved pink lemonade, and her school had vending machines that sold pink lemonade for $1.50. Well, she didn't like spending that much money, so she had an idea. She started buying and bringing a bunch of pink lemonade powder packets to school, so all she has to do when she wants lemonade is mix it with water. Well, right away, the vice principal called her to the office and accused her of selling drugs. She's like, I'm not selling drugs, this is just pink lemonade powder. But he kept insisting that she was using and selling drugs. And she kept telling him, hey man, just smell it, you'll know it's pink lemonade. But he wouldn't do that. He suspended her for 3 days and sent the pink lemonade to a lab for testing. Obviously, the powder was not drugs. People who were legends in their high school. When this kid was a freshman in high school, he was always bullied by the wrestling and the boxing club students. And he was beat up really badly that year. So during the summer, he started working out every day, and he took Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu lessons. By the end of that summer, he was pretty buff and he knew how to fight. His parents wanted to go on vacation before the school year started, so they went to Dubai. They were in Dubai for about a month, and while he was there, he still worked out every day and he trained in martial arts. Shortly after that, he was back in school, and a few days in, he saw the bullies. They didn't know what he had been up to that summer, and one day during lunch, they started to pick a fight with him. All his friends were telling him to run, but he didn't run. Instead, he used his knowledge in martial arts, and he absolutely won that fight against those 3 bullies. Everyone was amazed. The entire lunchroom began chanting his name. He felt like a star. But a teacher saw him, and he was suspended. The bullies never messed with him again, and he said it was totally worth it. People who were legends in their high school. When this kid was a freshman in high school, he was always bullied by the wrestling and the boxing club students, and he was beat up really badly that year. So during the summer, he started working out every day, and he took Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu lessons. By the end of that summer, he was pretty buff and he knew how to fight. His parents wanted to go on vacation before the school year started, so they went to Dubai. They were in Dubai for about a month, and while he was there, he still worked out every day and he trained in martial arts. Shortly after that, he was back in school, and a few days in, he saw the bullies. They didn't know what he had been up to that summer, and one day during lunch, they started to pick a fight with him. All his friends were telling him to run, but he didn't run. Instead, he used his knowledge in martial arts, and he absolutely won that fight against those 3 bullies. Everyone was amazed. The entire lunchroom began chanting his name. He felt like a star. But a teacher saw him and he was suspended. The bullies never messed with him again, and he said it was totally worth it.
Black markets kids used to run in their schools, part 1. A teacher posted this story on the internet. At the school she used to teach at, the cafeteria did not season any food, so everything tasted bland. Well, one kid got a brilliant idea. He would buy bags of salt and pepper packets and sell them to kids in the cafeteria. He charged 50 cents for 1 salt and 1 pepper and made hundreds of dollars in his first month. But then the school shut him down, and kids went back to eating bland cafeteria food.
Dumbest things people got in trouble for at school. This one happened back in the 80s at an elementary school. This kid was just walking around the halls when a bully came up to him and shoved him in the locker. The principal saw this. He let the bully go, but he gave the kid that was shoved in the locker a detention. And when the kid asked why, the principal said, if you're dumb enough to let this happen, you deserve to have detention. What the heck? When this guy was 16 years old, he worked at a convenience store. One day, the owner of the store asked if he could get his grandma, who was working the cash register, some food from the fast food place across the street. The owner's grandma had to eat every day at 7 p.m. So this kid left the store at 6:45 to go get the food. As this kid was walking back to the store with the food, a person on a bicycle hit him. causing the burger he got to fly out of his hands and get run over by a car. So this kid had to go back to the fast food place to get the owner's grandma a new burger. He finally arrived back at the store at 7:05 p.m. The owner was pissed, saying that him being 5 minutes late is causing huge problems for his grandma's eating schedule. The kid was then fired. The owner asked him before he went if he could have the burger for his grandma. The kid said no, started eating it, and he walked home. Craziest things kids did in school. A follower submission. When he was in high school, he took driver's ed with this super old teacher. Well, one day, him and 2 other students were doing behind the wheel, when all of a sudden, they noticed that the teacher had fallen asleep in the passenger seats. Well, the kid that was driving decided to head to a different city to drive around and explore while the teacher was sleeping. The second student was so down, but student number 3 was completely against this. After driving for a while, they realized they had gotten severely lost. So student 3 was like, let me drive, I'll get us back home. Everyone was too afraid to wake the teacher up, because at that point, they would have gotten in trouble. Once student 3 got behind the wheel and started driving, the other 2 woke the teacher up and said that student 3 wanted to drive to a different city, and he kept driving even though they asked him to stop, which is obviously a complete lie. But the teacher got super mad and suspended student number 3. That's nuts. Dumbest things people got in trouble for at school. When this kid was in junior high, they had circle-shaped hallways where all the lockers were. Well, the school administration was pretty whack, and they decided that students would only be allowed to walk clockwise around the hallway. Well, this kid's homeroom class was right next to his locker, but the problem was his class was right here and his locker was about 6 feet away counterclockwise. He never thought it was a big deal, so every day after homeroom, he would walk counterclockwise to his locker to get his stuff for his next class. Well, the teachers and school staff caught on, and he was eventually suspended for disrespecting the one-way rule too many times. What? Moments between parents and teachers. This one teacher used to work at a religious charter school, and parent-teacher conferences were coming up. There was one student in his class who had a tiny bit of behavior problems. Nothing too crazy, he was just a little bit annoying. Well, that kid's dad came in to parent-teacher conferences. It was the dad, the teacher, and the principal of the school. So Johnny seems to be having a bit of trouble in class. He's distracting his classmates, interrupting me during a lesson. It's kind of been a problem. He was just explaining to the dad the situation when the principal interrupts. You know something? No, I think I know what's happening here. I don't think this is a simple behavior problem. I think that it's much deeper. Yeah. I believe in my heart that your son is possessed by a demon. Really? I got a buddy with some experience in exorcisms, so that could be a solution. We could also bathe your son in holy water for about 2 hours. That's something we can do. Shortly after he quit that job, found a new one, and never worked at a religious school ever again. This kid made over $1,000 running a business in Zoom school. My followers sent me this story about a business that he ran. It was during the pandemic, when all the schools were closed and everyone was taking classes on Zoom. This guy really wanted to make some money, but he didn't know how. In-person school was not happening at the moment, so he couldn't run a traditional business there. Well, one day while sitting in a Zoom class, somebody raided it, and it wasted a bunch of time, and that's when he got a brilliant idea. He told everybody that he knew at his school and at other schools that if they Venmo'd him $5 and gave him their Zoom class information, he would raid their Zoom class. And people frickin' did it. Business was booming. Kids had him do this so they could waste time in class or just for pure entertainment. In total, he made $1,200. But this all stopped when schools reopened. But still, that was a genius move on his part. Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. He is currently in middle school, and he says he's a very smart student. So he had this idea. Basically, a homework answers subscription service. He charged $2 a week for basic homework answers and $4 a week for honors homework answers. He made a private Snapchat account, and once people pay, they're added to this Snapchat account where he posts the homework answers. And if people stop paying the weekly fee, he kicks them off the account. So far, he's made $300, and he has no plans of slowing down. Black markets kids ran in their schools. Follower submissions. This kid buys a bunch of Jolly Ranchers in bulk. He buys regular flavors and the tropical flavors. When he gets home, he puts them into separate Ziploc bags and throws them in his backpack. And then every day before school, he puts all of the flavors he has in stock on his Snapchat story, and people tell him what they want. He sells 10 Jolly Ranchers for $1, and he sells them during the passing periods. The first day he started this business, he made $40. And after 5 days, he has made $270.
Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. When this kid was in 8th grade, he went to a boarding school that was both a middle school and a high school. Well, during that same time, his dad worked for a Bitcoin mining company. So this kid had a pretty good idea of the ins and outs of mining Bitcoin. He was talking to one of the other boarding students who was interested in cryptocurrency, and he was telling this kid how the biggest cost would be electricity, and how sometimes the cost of electricity would be valued more than the Bitcoin mined. Well, then this kid told him that the electricity in his dorm is free, and bingo. They stole a bunch of computers from the school library, gathered more equipment, and set up a Bitcoin mining rig in his friend's closet. They are now juniors. They have never been caught, and their Bitcoin mining is very successful. Black markets kids ran in their schools. When this kid was in high school, he was able to get his hands on an extra locker. And in that locker, he kept a portable coffee maker and a water boiler to make coffee and tea. And he would sell the tea to students. Everybody loved this and business was booming. And at first, the teachers thought it was cute. But then they switched up. They said the school snack bar and cafeteria was losing money in coffee and tea sales, so he was no longer able to sell food or drinks. Well, this wouldn't stop him. These are the napkins the school would give away for free. So what he did was he got his hands on a bunch of these napkins, and he would sell the napkins to kids. But the thing is, if you bought a napkin, you would get a free coffee or tea. Nice little loophole there. The teachers were baffled and mad that they were outsmarted by the student. So they had the janitor bust open his locker and take his equipment, and that was it.
Worst things the popular kid did in school. This person told an anonymous story of something that happened at their high school. The teacher of one of their classes had a severe peanut allergy, and one day, this really popular dude thought it would be funny to spread peanut butter underneath the doorknob of the classroom, so the teacher wouldn't notice it until after she touched the peanut butter. This kid thought it was hilarious. Well, the teacher touched the peanut butter and was starting to have a severe allergic reaction. She went to the emergency room, and the crazy part is, the kid that did this was only suspended for a day or two because his parents were very rich and they donated a lot of money to the school.
Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. When he was in middle school, some kid was being mean to him and his friends. So the next day, they put an open bag of rice in the mean kid's backpack. The rice went everywhere and the kid was super mad, but he stopped being mean to them. Next day, he had his friends pass these out. Contact me if you want revenge, and had a phone number on there. It wasn't his real phone number, and he did it as a joke, but people started texting the number. They would send him a name, and then he would find that person and secretly put a bag of open rice in their backpack. It was harmless, but very effective. He did this hustle for 2 years and made $500. Black markets kids ran in their schools, part 23. A follower sent me this one. When he was in 6th grade, he started selling snacks. Candy, cookies, chips, Takis, everything. He would bring bags of them to school and sell out almost every day. Eventually, he hired 7th and 8th graders to sell to their grades. He was making $400 a week, but he got money hungry. He had an idea to make some extra cash. So during lunch, he would host Beyblade battles. And kids went crazy for it. He charged an entry fee, and people started battling and betting their stuff. Until one day a teacher used the bathroom. He walked in on a group of kids betting and battling Beyblades. He was then suspended and his businesses were shut down.
Now here is the third business, and definitely the most sus. One day he was at his friend's house. They were just wandering around the house when they came across something. They found his friend's mom's, adult massager, if you know what I mean. Well, instead of being repulsed by this discovery, they had another idea. They told all the neighborhood kids what they found, invited them over to see it, but charged $5 a ticket for them to see the adult massager. That day, there was a line outside of the house of kids waiting to see this brand new discovery they found in their mom's closet. They made some decent money, but eventually the mom came home and that was shut down as well. Yeah, some of their ideas were definitely a little strange, but hey.
Black markets kids used to run in their schools, part 6. This one's a bit different. In middle school, this kid and his friends opened up a casino in the cubby room during lunch. They only knew how to play blackjack, so that was what they played. And it started off small. They were betting things like chips and pudding cups. But soon after, everybody was betting their lunch money. Well, this kid was a hustler and he was winning everybody's money. Some kid got sad, told the teacher, and the casino was shut down forever. Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. When this kid was in high school, him and 2 of his friends had a great idea. They were going to start selling stuff out of lockers, but they would do it in a way that was never done before. Him and his friends saved up and bought a 15-pack of electronic wireless locks, and they put them on unused lockers around the school. They then stocked the lockers with snacks, school supplies, even cheap headphones for kids that forgot their headphones that day. And every locker had a QR code. If someone wanted to buy something, they would scan the QR code, and a phone number would pop up. They would text the number what they wanted to buy, and then one of our 3 dudes would send them a Venmo link. And once they paid, they would unlock the locker from their phone. The person would take what they wanted and reclose the locker. Business was booming. Altogether, they made about $10,000. They split it 3 ways and put that money towards college tuition.
He became a lifesaver to these teachers. It got to the point where if a teacher was writing on the board and it started to squeak, meaning it was out of the ink, they would just give him a glance. And this is what it should look like. The teachers didn't pay him for the markers, but this did go a long way. Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. When this kid was in 5th grade, duct tape wallets were super trendy. So he had an idea. He went on YouTube and he learned how to make duct tape wallets and other accessories. He then made a bunch of them with a bunch of different types and styles of duct tape. When he brought them to school, people immediately loved them, and everyone wanted to buy one. So he started selling them. He sold them for a couple bucks each, but business wasn't booming quite yet. So what he did was he gave a bunch of his friends a wallet to do advertising for him during lunch and recess. He told his friends what to say and the prices for each item, and whenever they made a sale, he paid them a percentage. This is when business was actually booming. He would pay his employees every Friday, and in the end, he made around $400. Not bad. Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. When this kid was in high school, he ordered a bunch of classroom projector remotes off of Amazon, and he found out that one of these remotes was a universal remote, and it worked perfectly every time with the type of projectors the school had. This is what his business did. He would charge students $10 a day to rent out this remote, and once they got the remote, they had the ability to turn off a projector at any time during class. So if kids just wanted to waste time or have an easy class day, they would get a remote from our guy, and at any point when the teacher was using the projector, they could turn it off whenever they wanted. He was never caught, but the teachers kept getting so confused at why all the projectors were not working. But in total, he made a couple $100. Not bad.
Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower sent this story in about his friend. When his friend was in 6th grade, he lived near a convenience store. And because he went in there so often, the store owner would give him old and expired candy for free, like Now and Later's, bubblegum. He would bring these candies to school and sell them for 25 cents each. Or whenever he had candy bars in stock, he would sell them for 50 cents each. And because the school he went to banned sweets and didn't sell snacks, he was making bank. Everybody was buying from him. For some reason, one year, the school decided to open up a snack bar, and the snack bar was also going to sell candy. Well, our dude couldn't have that. It would be bad for his business. So what he did was him and his friends a couple times a week would go to the snack bar and buy their entire stock. He would then sell the candy to students and tell them that when they're done with the candy to just throw the wrapper on the ground. And they did. Soon there was candy garbage everywhere. The school got mad, and then they shut down the snack bar. And our boy was back in business full time. In 2 years, he made $3,000.
Okay, now on to the big and crazy story. A follower sent me this about a kid at their Catholic school. On one Halloween, this kid went super hard and managed to get himself bags and bags of candy. He brought that candy into school and started selling it for 25 cents a piece. The teachers thought it was cute, and he made $200 from that candy business. Well, he wanted to expand. So with the $200 that he got from that business, he bought some more stuff, some different stuff. Black markets kids ran in their schools. This kid went to a private high school with a very strict dress code, and if anyone didn't follow the dress code, like they forgot a tie or they weren't wearing a belt, they would get detention. This kid wanted to make some extra money, so this is what he did. He went to the thrift store and bought a bunch of ties, belts, shoes of different sizes, even pants and polo t-shirts. He would wash them every day and fold them neatly inside of his locker. And that's how he started his school uniform rental business. If anyone forgot an item of clothing, they would come to him. Hey, yo, dude. Yes, hello, my good friend. What can I do for you? I forgot my tie today, and the teacher is looking for me right now. What do you got? Bro, I got you. I got blue and black ties. What do you want? Black tie, please. You want to rent it for the day or the week? Just today. All right, $10. You can return the tie to me here at the end of school, okay? He was making bank, and he was a savior to his classmates. In the end, he made about $600. Black markets kids ran in their schools. At one high school, there was a kid known as the pizza dealer. Throughout the beginning of the day, he would take take orders from students. They would give him cash, and he would order a bunch of different pizzas from the local pizza place. But he timed it perfectly. Whenever he did this, the delivery guy would be outside the school right before lunch started. He would go get it, bring the pizza and all the goods back inside, and passed it out to his customers. He only made a little bit of profit, but people loved him, and everyone loves pizza. Black markets kids ran in their schools, a follower submission. When he was in middle school, there were tons of kids that walked home every single day. Well, this kid had a brilliant idea. He gathered a bunch of bikes, skateboards, and scooters that were in his garage. It was 5 bikes, 5 skateboards, and 5 scooters. He then brought them to school and stored them in this old broken down shed that nobody used. He was going to rent these out to students who had to walk home. Things started off slow at first, but eventually business began booming. He charged kids $20 to rent out a bike, $15 to rent out a scooter, and $10 to rent out a skateboard. At the end of the school day, once customers paid, they were able to take this equipment home with them, as long as they brought it back the next morning. And if somebody didn't bring it back, this guy had bodyguards that worked for him. Eventually, this kid was caught and suspended, but in total, his rental service made him over $600. Markets kids ran in their schools, a follower submission. Every Sunday, this kid goes to Walmart and buys a bunch of melatonin gummies. He then puts those gummies in Ziploc bags, brings them to school, and tells the 6th graders that they're special gummies, if you know what I mean. Edibles. Well, people believed him, and they bought them. He sold 2 gummies for $10, and he's made around $700 so far. He hasn't been caught yet, but he did say he's noticed a lot of people sleeping in class. This woman shared a story of a business her son ran in his school. So they have family that lives in New York, and they would go visit that family a couple times every year. Well, whenever they were in New York, they would go to Chinatown, and her son would go to this street stand and would buy hundreds of dollars worth of fake watches, like fake Rolex, fake Gucci, all that stuff. He would then take all of those counterfeit watches to school and sell them for double what he paid for. Business was freaking booming. Everyone wanted these watches because they actually thought they were Rolex or Gucci. He made about $1,000, but the school staff started to catch on, so he shut the business down. Not bad.